And we are live. What's good, y'all? It's your man Dale Saint. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I really want to know podcast. Sorry I'm late, guys. I'm sorry I'm late. I do apologize. My daughter told me she had a recital today at school at 4:45. She said it turns out it was just practice for a recital. My daughter just wanted me there to watch her practice with the band. So I show up. I go into the find the band room. They're in there. I'm like, how come you guys aren't performing in the gym where you guys normally perform? Walk in and teacher's there. It's like, and she's like, "Oh, you can hang out if you like." So I sat down and my daughter saw me. She got a little trombone and she looks over and she just starts smiling. Her eyes got all big and she just wanted her dad there to watch her rehearse for this upcoming concert competition that they have going on. And I tell you what, best feeling in the world. Best feeling in the world. So that's why I'm late. So we got back and I was doing some stuff, making some calls. We got a big show coming up in March here, March 22nd in Florida. If you guys are in Tampa, uh, Will Golston, which is a big defensive player for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, asked us to bring his favorite comic to Tampa, and we did. So that's March 22nd. We had the comic CP. Is his name? This is the guys out of Detroit. Will is from Detroit originally. He wants to show love to the artists from his city and show respect to his city. So that's March 22nd, guys. Doors open at 9. We're going until whenever. We might be there till 3. We got a good show lined up. Don't miss it. It's on Eventbrite. Don't miss it. It's going to be a great show. If you're on my Instagram, you can find information there. So that's why I'm late. Sorry. But we're going to talk about this, man. Winter ain't coming anymore, y'all. Winter is here. Let's talk about how you deal with adversity. Let's talk about what we need to do to deal with adversity. I hope y'all ready because I'm going to need a lot of help. I want to know. I want to know. I want to know. Let's get into it. And we are live. What's good, y'all? Welcome, welcome, welcome to the I Really Want to Know podcast, y'all. Some indeed. So definitely want to get into his brother Donnie's in the building, man. What is good, fam? Always a pleasure to see you, man. Shout out to you. Daddy duties equals priorities. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And that is where I wanted to be, man. When it comes to seeing my daughter do something, either perform or play or whatever she's doing, and when it comes to that or me doing something else, I'm always going to choose to be there to support my child. Always 100%, never fail. That's where I'm going to be. That is so important. Parents, or what I mean, young people who may be parents one day, there's no substitute for that. Some people just can't do it. They have to work, circumstances dictate that they just can't get away. They can't get to practice. They can't get to the games. They can't do these things. But it means so much to your children to look up when your children can look up and see mom and dad over there, checking them out, supporting them. I remember that when I was a kid. That was long, many, many, many moons ago. But I tell you what, to this day, I remember those sporting events or those band events when I could look out into the crowd and I see family out there support me. You know what I mean? So I had to be there. Had to be there. Sister Lady Navoa is in the building. What's good, sis? We miss you as well. I'm glad you're here, sis. So glad you're here. Yeah, man, we're gonna talk about this adversity thing, man. So it's it's an article here, I found from a CNN business, and this was December of last year, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, man. So, if you guys were watching the show from yesterday, we were talking about Sister Danielle DiMartino Booth, and we were talking about what's going on in America. She harped on a whole bunch of stuff. There's a lot of pain that's slowly creeping up on America. A lot of pain. And how are people dealing with it? I wanted to talk about that, man. How are people dealing with it? It's really difficult out here. And when it happens, bro, like the effects of the stress, the effects of the helplessness, the effects of, let's face it, our actions. Like, 9 times out of 10, if you're in a situation, you put yourself in that situation, right? So, especially when it comes to credit, especially when it comes to bills, especially when it comes to, purchases and signing contracts. How are we going to deal with it? How have you dealt with it in the past? How do you plan to deal with it in the future? I'm hoping for a lot of interaction in the chat, man, because I really want to know. Because we're normally older folks, we're grown folks over here, man. Like, hopefully, this will be a conversation that can help some folks down the road, some of the younger people, maybe some of the older people who got themselves into some sort of trap. Like, it is what it is, brother Dino in the building. Dinosaur was good, bro. It's like DL, a difficult or unpleasant situation, reliance in the face of adversity. She overcame many adversaries. You know what I mean? Yeah, man. We're gonna talk about how to do that. Like, what are people doing? What are some of the techniques involved, and what to expect, and how to notice it, man? We're gonna really get into it. I'm no trained person or whatever. Just this is just how I deal with stuff, and I really want to hear how you guys are dealing with stuff. Brother Mandrell's in the building. Was good, fam. Appreciate y'all. Please, on the way in, please hit that like button. Don't be afraid to subscribe and all that good stuff, man. I appreciate you all. So here's this article from CNN Business. Americans racked up a record amount of credit card debt in 2023, soaring past $1 trillion. But a mass retrenching in customer spending, the main driver of the U.S. economy, is unlikely this year, according to economists. Workers are still commanding robust wage gains. The stock market is on solid footing. Attitudes towards the economy have improved dramatically in recent months, and consumers spent a healthy clip during the holidays. Remember, this was written in December of last year. A few months ago. Credit card debt has surged in normal terms, but after adjusting for inflation, it's nearly 20% below the peak it reached in late 2008, according to Wallet Hub analysis, New York Fed data. Americans also seemed equipped to deal with their balances, economists say. Now, remember, this was back in December. Things have changed a lot, right? Consumers are still have a lot of money left over to be able to spend, so the credit card data is often misinterpreted. Russell Price, chief economist of Ameriprise Financial, told CNN. The dollar value of credit card debt is at an all-time high, but so is the population, employment, and consumer income. Again, this information doesn't really line up with defaults and stuff like that that's going on today, here in last day I guess we got one more day of February going into March. So let's continue with the article. Here's what's going on with credit cards. Credit card debt hit a fresh normal high of 1.13 trillion from October through December, according to the Federal Reserve Bank of New York. The issues with those figures is that they don't factor in about 55% of borrowers repay their balances in full each month. 55%, huh? I don't know about that. Price said the New York Fed staff noted that limitations on the data in a blog post, right? So it's a limitation. I don't know about that. According to LendingTree analysis of more than 350,000 credit reports, the average unpaid credit card balance was $6,864 in the fourth quarter. Overall, U.S. household debt, including credit card balances, rose to a new high of 17.5 trillion in the fourth quarter, up 1.2% from the prior 3-month period. Consider the broader picture. The U.S. job market remains solid, and wage growth is beating inflation. Now, y'all remember we were talking about this yesterday, because they go off of these big numbers and they're like, oh man, all these Americans are doing all this stuff. You get all these headline numbers, and then you get the retractions later, which are downward retractions, and you see that the numbers weren't as great. There's a lot of debt out there. Again, this article was written in December. We're going to see if we can find something more recent about American debt after we finish this article. And the U.S. job market, bro, we know that there's a lot of layoffs right now. But again, with these layoffs, a lot of people are getting laid off, but they're getting severance. It's like white collar and workers are getting laid off, but they're getting severance, up to a year of severance. So the companies still keep them on the books as employed, even though they're not. So, that's just one of the things. Employers added a robust 353 jobs in January as the unemployment rate held steady at 3.7%. U.S. job openings have gradually come down since its peak at 12 million in March of 2022, but they remain well above pre-pandemic levels, and layoffs haven't picked up in any meaningful way. This is the part that I don't know. Like this, again, this was back in December. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. This information seems to be different from the information we was getting before. So who's more correct? I don't know. The job market continues strengthening means Americans can still pay down their debt, put money away into savings, and continue to spend. The average American doesn't have enough money to cover a $500 unexpected expense. They have to use credit to do it. So to say that they're still, paying down debt and putting it into savings, man, I don't know if that's true, bro. I really don't know. While credit growth has accelerated, debt servicing costs has risen, and new delinquency rates have increased. The broad U.S. credit picture is not alarming. This is Gregory Dacko, chief economist at was EY Patreon, said in a note Friday. I don't know. I don't even know who they are. Soaring U.S. stocks driven by investments in companies linked to generative artificial intelligence have also beefed up Americans' 401ks, and they're talking about NVIDIA here. Credit is also key to powering spending, especially when it comes to big ticket items such as furniture and appliances. As the economy grows, so does debt. Our economy naturally grows because of the combination of productivity, growth, and population growth. So something has to really disrupt growth to make household balances sheets contract. So something has to happen, and the interest rate thing is happening, and banks are no longer lending. That's happening. So I'm pretty sure that the household balance sheets are going to be in some turmoil here in a minute. For example, while household debt began to shrink in the aftermath of the global financial crisis in 2008, those debt levels began to rise again in 2013 and have been on a mostly upward trajectory ever since. That's according to New York Fed data. But there's still economic pain. Inflation, which remains above the Federal Reserve's 2% target, right, is at 3%, and it kind of flattened out. It's not going down anymore. It's starting to flatten out, and the Fed is worried about it. It's still pinching Americans. So, the Fed is still worried about, inflation. It's stubbornly, sticking at 3%, and they want it down to 2%. Even though it has slowed markedly over the past few years, price remains such higher than any consumers and businesses have ever dealt with in pre-pandemic times. So the prices are much higher than they're hoping for because the interest rates are high and inflation is not dropping. The Fed and Jerome Powell are going to keep interest rates high, which means it's going to put more pressure on commercial real estate, which we all know, and that's going to spill over to residential real estate. And we have a lot of people out there doing a lot of things with credit, and it continues to go up. And then again, these numbers that they were talking about was not including all that debt. They were getting that buy now, pay later debt that doesn't get covered or captured on your credit reports. So it's a lot of pain coming. And if the Fed doesn't get down to that 2% target with inflation, even more pain is going to come. Right. And then the article goes into Americans are also dealing with painfully low housing affordability and the highest interest rates in 23 years. Like we were just talking about that, which affects borrowing costs on everything from car loans to mortgages. I was just talking to a friend who refinanced like the last part of his car. He got a nice, decent SUV, nothing European, nothing crazy, nice Toyota SUV. And he had to finance, I want to say it was like 13,000 or something like that at 9%. And he has excellent credit, 9%. What are the subprime people getting? Like double digit percentages if they can get a loan at all. the banks are really risk averse right now. Really risk averse. So let's get into what we came to talk about. I just wanted to kind of set the page. Like, people are kind of looking at this stuff and it's like, there's pain coming. How do you deal with that pain? Like, how do you deal with that pain? Right? When you get that notice that you got laid off, right? That notice comes a month after you realized you're not making enough money to cover your basic living expenses, right? You're having trouble covering your mortgage or your rent. You're trying to figure out how to afford your groceries because you got to spend more money on groceries. Your insurance has gone up, so you're trying to figure out how you're going to cover that extra insurance costs on your car or on your home and stuff like that, right? You're trying to deal with that. Your kid needs braces. Oh my goodness, you know what I mean? Like you have insurance, but maybe you got one of those dental plans that requires you to pay a lot of money up front to get stuff like braces done, right? Um, and like I said, you get the notification that you're getting laid off. Like you were barely making it with the money you were making, and now you're about to get laid off. That has to hit you like that's a gut punch. And even if you can scramble and get yourself another job, you're probably not going to be making as much money as you were making at the previous one, right? So what happens when you got to deal with this, right? Well, what do adults do when things become overwhelming? A lot of people find themselves just curling up in a ball, man, or not getting out of bed or going from the bed to the sofa and just sitting there, man. Like you go through these feelings, these emotions, right? You get mad at yourself. How did I, what I mean? How did I get here? You get mad at yourself. Things were just going so good a few months ago. Now I'm here. You get angry at others. You start lashing out at folks. What's your fault that this happened? Is the company doesn't care about me or people don't care about me and no one's here to help me. You get mad at the bank. How come you won't give me a loan at the interest rate that I need? How come, what I mean? How come, what do you mean my debt to income levels are off and I got to pay all this money? And a lot of people just stay in the house, bro, because the stress is so great. The stress it gets so bad, man, it winds up, it manifests in like your body, like your knees start hurting or you start getting back pains, you get headaches, what I mean? Your neck is all messed up, bro. How do you deal with this stress? And that's, I'm serious. I'm wondering, how do y'all deal with the stress? Brother Dino is like DL. This is when Sneeko gets in the ring with the MMA world champion. Hey, bro, I don't know what Sneeko was thinking. I give him I give him credit. I know I wanted to climb into the ring with that dude. That dude didn't take, man, he pulled some punches, but he was giving him, boy, he was rocking him, bro. I don't know, man. That was some crazy stuff. Scam Likely's in the building. What's good, man? 9%. Yeah, bro. Banks are seriously tightening their lending standards. And even when people with excellent credit are getting hit with terms, they're like, what is this? The banks are extremely risk averse right now. Why? Because they got a lot of bad debts on the books. They're writing off a lot of stuff, man. There's the car market just bottomed out completely. That it's insane. I've never seen so many SRTs and Trackhawks and whatever, these, Camaros and all these other cars, man. All these cars are being repossessed. If you go to a car auction, that's all you see. That's all you see, man. Um, yeah, people with really good credit are getting hit with these really high interest rates. Not just on automobiles, man. They're getting them like on their, like if you get like a line of credit, you're gonna get a really high rate. Trying to buy a house, you're gonna get a really high rate. I know a lot of people who were kind of flipping homes, or a lot of people who were like just doing things. They've pretty much stopped. They're like, bro, I can't get good terms. And these are people, like I said, with excellent credit. They have businesses with excellent credit. People are out here like getting these 3 to 5 year loans, and it's time to it's trying to roll those loans over, and they're going from 2.5% up to, 5, 6, 7%, 7.5%. That's a lot, bro. When you're talking hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars, that's a lot. It's like, bro, and The bank gives you a choice. You could pay the loan off now, which they generally don't have the cash to do it, or you can roll it over. Historically, they just roll it over, like plus or minus 2%. Not even. It'd be like plus or minus a fraction of a percent. But now you're looking at double, if not more. Remember, Danielle DiMartino Booth was talking about that. And now you got that pressure. Not only you got the pressure of your stuff going on at home with your kids and your wife and all the rest of it, but now the business. Like, what am I going to do with this business? I can't sell it. No one wants it. I can't get any money out of this. Oh my God, I got all my money tied up into this. How do I deal with the stress, man? And I tell folks, it's like you're going to have to let that all flow through you. You're going to have to recognize that, yes, it's a problem, but you're going to have to figure out how to try to stay calm and deal with it. And I mean, it's so hard to do. You don't even want to get out of bed. You don't want to eat. You're having trouble sleeping. You don't want to go out. You don't want to socialize. If you have kids, that could be a saving grace, but you might not want to deal with your kids. Some of us got bad kids. And you got to go deal with meetings and try to keep your kid in check. You're gonna snap. You lose your temper fast. Why? Because you're stressed out about how you're gonna pay for all this stuff. Now you start to sit back and think like, okay, am I gonna pay the mortgage or the rent, or am I gonna buy groceries? Am I gonna, am I gonna pay the utility bills because it's like extremely cold? I got to pay an extra 30% on the utility bills, or do I keep the lights on? You know what I mean? Like, you got these choices to make. You turn to your family and friends, like you turn to your family trying to, like, can you help me? I need some loan. Like, they're going through the same things you're going through. How do you deal with this? How do you deal with it? Brother Jack Black is in the building. What's good, fam? It's like, yeah, he's like Jerome. Yeah, Jerome Powell is delaying the inevitable, bro. If you're saying that he has to drop rates, that's inevitable. I don't know, man. I don't know if he's going to do it. And if I don't think he's going to do it in March. And if he does drop rates, he's not going to drop rates to the amounts that these people need, that these businesses need, so they can roll these loans over. I don't know, maybe. But there's a ton of stress out there, man. A ton of stress. And add to that, like, people don't have they don't have a significant other to turn to. So you got all this stress you're dealing with, and you're dealing with it on your own. Maybe you have kids, maybe you don't, but I think it's worse when you're alone. You don't have kids. You don't have a significant other. You're just in the house. You might have a couple friends who are trying to keep tabs on you and bring you out the house. You're not eating, right? You're not showering. You're just kind of walking around the house. You're a mess. You know what I mean? How do you snap out of it? Has anyone been through that? I'm curious. Like, how do you snap out of it? And Brother Jack is saying, yeah, he's thinking Jerome Powell is going to increase interest rates. I hope he does, man. I mean, this is a correction that America needs. I hope he does increase interest rates, but that'll destroy some banks. We'll lose we'll lose more regional banks, more of these smaller banks will go under. We're going to see, and it's an election year. The White House is putting all kind of pressure. You want to talk about pressure? I'm sure Jerome Powell's under a ton of pressure. But when you are having trouble buying food for the month, like, what do you do? Now, a lot of folks come from a world where they're not used to having a lot. So people, like, if things get bad with me, if I was in that situation with food, going to the dollar store, like we used to call it secondhand, day old store, 2-day old, 1-day old store, whatever. But now they're dollar stores. You go in there, you get you some canned goods, you get you some ramen, some pastas, like some spaghettis and stuff like that. Right? You get the spaghetti sauce, like, wherever you can get for $1. And I haven't been to the dollar store in a long time. There's one not far from me. I should pop in there and see what's on the shelves. I bet you there's not a whole lot of stuff in the dollar store. Man, I bet you it's not a whole lot of stuff there. I bet you people have been in a dollar store trying to stretch that dollar, trying to, make up that shortfall for their grocery needs. Man, I wonder. I'm going to go in there and talk to the people who work there. I wonder how busy they've been. There's one, literally, I pass it every day. I'm going to go in there. That's what we do. That's what we normally do. Ramen noodles, if you're single, if you got kids, man, spaghetti. ground beef, some spaghetti, like cut up an onion, fry up an onion, throw it up in the meat and ground beef or ground turkey, whatever you can get. Dump that in the noodles. And we used to use ketchup, believe it or not. We didn't even have, I didn't know that spaghetti had special sauce. We had ketchup, bro. We would just dump a bunch of ketchup in there and mix it all up and eat on that for 3 days. 3 days straight. That's it. You can eat that, or you can get some bread and maybe put some butter on it, which was really margarine back then because we didn't have real butter. And we just get you some butter bread, bro. You can get some butter bread, get you some of that spaghetti, and we call it spaghetti, but it was a ketchup, man. That's what we ate. Or hot dogs. Take hot dogs and boil them up, or take hot dogs and fry them up. You know, we would go with that cheaper stuff, man. We lived on it. That's how we were raised. You know, now my lifestyle is certainly different. And my daughter is used to certain things. You know, I want tacos, Papa. Or I want Chinese, Papa. I want, you know, like, how do you tell your kids, like, we can't afford that? We can't afford to get you, you know, pizza from Papa John's. We can't afford to go get your favorite tacos. I take my daughter to get these street tacos from this place that she likes. She'll order 10 tacos and she'll eat them all. They're like, you know, street tacos. It's like $30 for those tacos. They're good. It's like $30 for 10 tacos. Or she was like, well, let's go to Panda Express. She wants to get some rice and noodles. She just wants rice and chow mein. That's like $10, $15 for a large side of rice and a large side of chow mein. That stuff ain't cheap. So as a parent, how do you deal with that? Well, I know one of the things I do, I once I realize that's what I'm going through, I do my best to get up. Sometimes you just can't get up, right? Like sometimes it's so bad, you just don't want to move. But I'll force myself to get up. Let me just get up. Let me just get off the sofa. You know, it's just like, man, let me just get off the couch. Just let me get up, get off the couch today. Because you'll find yourself just sleeping the day away. You just sleep all day long, not doing anything, lethargic, and you're just there. Like, man, let me get off this couch, man. Let me go outside, bro. Let me just walk around. Let me just walk 2 blocks. I try to do that. And sometimes, man, I ain't gonna lie to you, man, you just can't get up. Even though your mind is telling you to get up, because the stress is just damn near crippling. Damn near crippling. Like Scam was like, that food to take you out, bro. Hey, man, it is what it is, brother Mandrell. So you're going back to fried bologna sandwiches, man. Those were good, man. We were eating bologna sandwiches, man. I haven't touched a bologna sandwich, bro, since the mid 1980s. I can't stand bologna, man. I don't like them hot dogs. You won't find no hot dogs in my house. But don't get me wrong, I'm not too proud to go back to that. That's what you got to do to survive. That's what you got to do to survive. But yeah, man, we have bologna sandwich. Now it's, you know, deli turkey and, cheddar cheese from the deli. And, we're doing this stuff, but man, that stuff's expensive. That stuff's expensive, bro. And when you can't do that anymore, isn't that why it keeps you down? It keeps you frustrated. Like, man, I can't even go out here and get like my favorite turkey. Cause you go from getting the turkey that you really like to going down and just getting whatever's on sale. And it doesn't taste the same, it doesn't have the same consistency. And that's gonna mess with you, man. It's gonna mess with your mind. It's what, you're sitting there feeling sorry for yourself. And that happens. That happens to the best of us, man. Start feeling sorry for yourself. How you deal with that? Like I said, it's all part of it. Like you laying on the sofa because you're feeling sorry for yourself. You're in the bed wrapped up in the covers because you're feeling sorry for yourself. You're not answering the phone. Bill collectors are calling. You're sitting there like, all right, can I at least cover the mortgage? Can I at least cover the car note? All right, what about insurance? Which insurance do I pay? What I'm gonna take a chance on my homeowner's insurance? Maybe not pay that. I'll pay the automotive, I gotta pay the car insurance. I'm driving, right? I gotta make sure I have that. Now you gotta make these choices. And again, that's just more pressure. Well, let me go out here and find a job. Can't. Well, let me go out here and work Uber. You're gonna work Uber, you're gonna need a special type of insurance for that. I drove Uber when I was in LA, like in my last couple of years. My last couple of years in LA was tough. I was going through it, bro. Family court system, man, they have no mercy. They don't care. I was going through it. And I had to get separate insurance when I was driving. You need that commercial insurance. You just can't have your normal insurance while you're trying to drive your car. And the amount of miles that you are putting on your car, whatever car you're driving, the oil changes and, having to do check up on the fluids and the tires. For the amount of money you're making on Uber, you're just causing another major problem down the road. Like, you got this car, you need this car, but you're driving this car into the ground so you can get a couple pennies, get a little bit of money so you can pay your homeowner's insurance, or so you can, have a little extra money for groceries, or so you can, buy whatever your kids need for school. They might need some school clothes, or they might need, Pop, I need $80 for this. We got a field trip. Just imagine the feeling of telling your child, nah, you can't go perform in this, whatever, this competition or whatever, because we don't have the money. Now, one of the things I am when it comes to my family, especially my daughters, I'm honest. I'm not going to be mad at my daughter because we're going through financial hardship. It's my job. I'm the commander. Complaints go up, they don't go down. So I would just tell her, like, hey, we just can't afford it. But you don't want to tell your child they can't afford to go do something they've been practicing so hard for. You got to go figure out a way to get that money. And then bam, you wind up with those predatory lending people, those payday loans, legal loan sharking, bro. It's like, you look better going to the mob to get your loan, bro. They're gonna give you a lower interest rate. The VA gonna be a lot lower on there. Because we do have friends we can go to. You hit your friends up, but I mean, you can only go to that source so many times before they're like, bro, I can't help you. I can't pay for everything for you. And then boom, now you're back on the sofa again. Stressed out. How do you get through it? How do y'all get through it? I'm serious, man. Brother Jack, it's like, my girl goes into the Dollar General a lot since less people in there. But to be honest, it's made to rob the ignorant person. Think you're getting a value you ain't. Word. I guess I could see that. I could see that. Brother Dino, like Lindell German, is expanding in the US. Good price goods. I'm gonna have to look them up. I don't know where they are in the US. And I think one of the grocery store juggernauts here in the US is Kroger. They own Publix, they own Rouse. Publix is in the South, Kroger's is in the Midwest. And then Rouse is on the West Coast, and Kroger Corporation owns all three of those. And I mean, it's crazy. Brother Mandrill, Panda Express sucks. Yeah, my daughter loves the rice. She loves the rice and the chow mein. That's all she'll get. Brother Jack, he's like, they changed that, Unc. Now they had $1 million police for everyone that drives, but they take a bigger cut. But they changed. $1 million for everyone that drives, but they take a bigger cut. Is that, you probably meant $1 million policy for everyone that drives? Huh. I don't know. Like, it's the rules down here in Florida when it comes to insurance is crazy, bro. The rules down here in Florida is crazy. People rock, they just taking chances out here, bro. They don't care. And they drive like they're in a demolition derby. It's shocking out here. LA, they're really on it, bro. They want to see your proof of insurance, but they have people who have these fake forms. Saying it was the same way in Ohio when I was there. But when you get to the point where you can't afford these things, what do you do? Right? How do you deal with the anger that's surely going to come, bro? You're going to get mad at the world, man. You're going to get mad at everybody. How do you deal with that anger? I'm definitely open to talking to pros. If you want to go talk to, counselors, if you have insurance and you can afford it, but that stuff costs money. Even with your insurance, you got to pay your copay. And when you're in a position where every single dollar counts, I mean, just think about it. You're like, oh man, 6 months ago, man, we was in New York clowning, man. We was out in LA, Vegas, clowning, spending all this money. Now it's like, bro, I got $20 to last the next 2 weeks. What do? You got $20 and you need gas? And that's something I know. It's like pulling up, seeing people pull up to the gas pumps and they'll put in like maybe $15. I haven't seen that since I was a kid. That's how we did when we was a kid, man. Like, man, can I ride? Yeah, you got gas money? You can ride if you got some gas money. But now you got grown-ups that are just, every single quarter counts now. How do you deal with it? How do you deal with the adversity? I'm serious. I'm curious, man. Like I'm sure there's people in the chat that's been through this, man. Like, how did y'all get through it? For me, I turned to family and friends. Eventually, I would get tired of feeling sorry for myself. Eventually, I would pull myself off that sofa, pull myself out the bed, put on some clothes, and go take a walk. Eventually, I would do that. Eventually, I would bounce back. Eventually, I'm like, okay, I got to figure something out. Eventually, I would come up with a plan. Okay, we got to figure this out. I got to come up with a plan. Got to figure out how I'm gonna make this happen. And one of the things I would do to really help me figure it out would be to write everything down. Like when you talk to people who are out there saying, "Hey, this is how you level up," and they talk about, businessmen talking about tracking your finances. I know Myron and Fresh talk about this on Money Mondays all the time. Like, you need to know where your money is going. People don't realize how much money is being wasted, especially now when you have these automatic renewing costs that you don't even realize you still have. You're probably paying for some platform that you don't even know is taking $10 a month, $120 a year. You don't even know it because it's on some platform and you're not really paying attention to your statements like that. I remember I went through, this must have been 5 or 6 years ago. No, it's probably longer than that. About 7 years ago, I went through all of my finances. I went through all of my statements, and there was $45 coming out of my account, and I had no idea what it was for. And it turns out it was to some internet-based company that I had signed up for the free trial. So I don't do free trials anymore. And they were just taking $45 a month. It must have been it was 2 years before I realized it. Whose fault is that? Mine, for not following my finances closer. Mine. It was just money being wasted. I didn't think nothing of it. And I went through and that was the biggest one. I found a few that was like $10, $15. I found one that was like $20. That all adds up. So that's the first thing. Like when I want to pull myself off the couch, the first thing I do once I get up, start walking around. First thing I do. The second thing I do, I'll sit down, go through all my statements. Let me write everything. Okay, let me look at all this money going out. Write everything down. Real, pages and pages of stuff. All right, what's this? What's this? What's this? Look it up. Okay, what is this? Let me look this up. What is this company? Look it up. Start reducing the bleeding. Like, let's control the bleeding. You go through that because, like Myron was saying, like what doesn't get measured, what doesn't get count doesn't get measured. I think that's what he was saying. Like, you have to know what you're spending so you can go ahead and set yourself on a budget, which is the third thing I do. I'll set myself on a budget. If it's something financial like that, like I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to make it through the month or something, like, all right, let me put myself on a budget. What is my shortfall? Why do I do that? Because I'm not the United States government. I just can't keep printing money. Right? I just can't create money out of the air. So what do? I'm like, all right, let me sit down here. Let me figure this out. What is my shortfall? You go through it, you figure it out. It's like, okay, my monthly shortfall is $1,000. All right. So first thing you do is you go through there, like, okay, can I find $1,000 that I'm spending just wasting? That's when you go through there and you start shutting off those automatic payments, going there and get the stuff cut down, shut down. All right, how much was that? All right, that's $300. All right, I'm still $700 short. All right, what can I do? All right, am I going to the bars? Let me see what okay, how much am I spending when I go out to eat? How often am I going out to eat? How often am I going to the bars? What's my average cost? What's my average bar tab? You start going through that. Trust me. You're trying to save $700. You might be spending that a month at the bar without even realizing. A couple drinks here, a couple drinks there, dinner, some appetizers, dessert. You do that 2 or 3 times a month. That could be $700 depending on where you're going. Easy. So it's like, okay. And as you start to fill in the blanks and as you start to get a full picture of what's going on, with your household budget, the pressure is still there, but it lessens a little bit. It's like, all right, at least I know what's going on. All right, I found the shortfall. So now, okay, now I can afford everything, but it only leaves me with, I don't know, $50 for the month. I want extra money. Okay, well, go get a job. Go find a hustle. What can you do? Someone like me, I'm a comic. All right, well, let me start booking some shows. Let me start booking myself. Let me start going to these places and earning some money. Like, all right, I can drive to Orlando and do 3 shows and make $150, $200 one night. All right, cool. $100 of that is going to go into the gas tank. Fine. But I still made some money. All right, cool. But I'm like, well, I am putting miles in the car, so I'm going to have to earn a little bit more money because I'm going to need that service sooner because I'm doing all this driving. Then you start talking to the club owners, you start talking to promoters, like, hey, man, try to get your price up a little bit. If you're someone like me, like, all right, start a room like we did. We got a room, start a room, start bringing in some cash, start working hard here. Maybe you don't have to drive as much, get people to show up, start making money. The key is now you know what to do. Now your mind is focused on the solution and not focused on just being woe is me, being a victim, right? Just kind of wrapping yourself up and like, uh, you know, feeling sorry for yourself. That's what I do. That is if it's a financial issue. What if it's an emotional issue? What if it's a relationship? I've seen relationships, like especially when relationships end, I've seen relationships destroy people, utterly destroy them. They don't want to do nothing. Sometimes they become real mousy. They don't want to talk. Sometimes they become real bitter and they just hate everybody. How do you deal with that? I don't have a whole lot of experience with that, but I got some. How do you deal with that? Brother Jack is like, yeah. He's like, yes, Uber for caught in a lawsuit. I guess Uber was caught in a lawsuit because everyone was saying they had commercial insurance, is probably what you're talking about, commercial insurance, and didn't. Then the company got sued. Yeah, absolutely. And that's because the way Uber works, at least the way it worked back then, if you got into an accident while the app was on and you were actively going to pick someone up or you have a customer in the car dropping, like as soon as you accept the trip, Uber is going to pay for your insurance. Get into an accident, as long as you're on an active pickup or drop off, whether the person's in the car or not, Uber is covering your insurance. Now, when the trip is over and you're just driving around or sitting around waiting for the next fare, you're on your insurance. And this is why you need a commercial insurance, because this is not covered in your normal car insurance. So, and people would say, hey, show us your insurance. People were showing, hey, this is my insurance. And Uber was working with just random folks. That was a side hustle. Like whenever you had to go to a Uber checkpoint or something, it was just regular people who were working like you were working, and they're not driving. They got the Uber shirt on. They're checking in on their phone and they're sitting there and they'll do the inspection or do the paperwork or whatever it is they're there to do. Right. So it's like they work for Uber, but they're independent contractors. And that was to give you like your Uber stickers back then. You had stickers that you could put up in the window. They would check the car, make sure that the seatbelts worked and the brakes worked and the doors and locks and all that worked. Get you all certain, get you all squared away. And they would check your insurance. But Uber did not ask me for commercial insurance when I started driving. I was talking to someone who was in the insurance. It was my attorney. I was talking to my attorney because I was going through the family court stuff. Told my attorney, like, yeah, I'm trying this Uber thing. And he was like, what kind of insurance do you have? And I told him, he was like, you need to get commercial insurance. I'm like, but Uber didn't ask for it. They just said to show my insurance. Like, yeah, bro, you just have normal insurance. Your insurance company is not going to cover you if something happens. You need commercial insurance. So I got the commercial insurance. It was more. I got the commercial insurance. It was a decent deal, but it was definitely more. In a month or so, maybe a month and a half after I got the commercial insurance, I was on a long trip. I dropped some dude off. You know what I mean? I turned the app off. I'm done. I'm on my way home. Some guy pulls up next to me on the 605 freeway. His tires were bald. I mean, you could see wires. Has a tire blowout on him. Loses control of the car. Hits me. right? I was driving a BMW X5, right? Yes, I was doing Uber in the X5. It was an older X5, it was a beautiful car. I always try to take care of the vehicles. He hit me at an angle which broke the axle, the front axle. Just he hit the tire on the front driver's side, messed it up, spun me out. I hit some woman who was behind me. I wound up going over the grass median. So I go from I was closer to the far left lane. It was 4 lanes. I was closer to the far left lane. He was in a high speed lane, which is the furthest left lane. Hits me. I spin to my right, crossing the other lanes. I wound up going over through the grass median because it was an arm ramp there. Go through there. It was some sort of tree stump or something there. Broke the back axle. I'm slamming on the brakes. I'm going through there. I come up to LA has a lot of concrete. They call them rivers. They're just these coverts or whatever. I'm coming up on one of those things, bro. Like, whoa. And then I'm like, just a couple feet from that, looking, I'm like, oh my goodness. Then I look to my right, I'm on the on ramp. Here comes the 18-wheeler. I'm on the on ramp. Truck is coming, bro. I threw the car in reverse, slammed on the accelerator. Luckily, the wheel was still spinning. Germans make good cars, bro. BMWs are great cars. And I was able to back out of the way of the truck just as the truck was going past. Completely totaled the car. Completely totaled the car. But I had commercial insurance. They came through. I got replacement costs, went out, you know what I mean, bought a car, cash money. Even though it was a BMW, it was an older BMW, still, those things held their value. And the guy who caused the accident, man, his tires were bald. You know, I mean, this kid didn't have money, shouldn't have been driving that car, the whole nine, right? Didn't have insurance. I take it back. He had insurance, but he was extremely underinsured. So my insurance wound up taking care of everything. I wasn't physically hurt. So I was like, that's that. You know, he had to pay for the woman that I hit. And again, the kid, he had legal insurance. California's like that. You get insurance, but it's these companies that fly by night. You pay the insurance and they don't. That's like a whole nother scam. Right. And think about it. I was stressed out dealing with the family court stuff. Now I'm out here dealing with this. Now the car is totaled, stressed out about that. Got to go out and find a replacement vehicle, which I did, but I was rushed, wound up buying a Volkswagen. I forget which Volkswagen it was. Passat. I think it was a Passat. Nice looking car, but the previous owner was one of those street racing guys. So the suspension was all messed up. Like, I mean, I spent so much money just kind of getting that car to the point where I could drive it. Again, it's Volkswagen. Germans make good cars, bro. The car, even though the car wasn't 100%, it was riding pretty good. And I was trying to do Uber in there until the transmission went out. That car was paid for, cash money. Had to get another car. More stress, just daisies chained. But the thing in LA, with the stress that I was under, I didn't have any time to sit down and feel sorry for myself. I was constantly working. I'm at work working as an air traffic controller, or I was out driving Uber, or I was out running, like taking my daughter here and taking my daughter there and going to court and having meetings with the attorney and doing all this other stuff. I didn't have time to sit down and feel sorry for myself. I was too busy, but I was still stressed out, bro. I was so stressed out. That lasted until I left. That lasted like a good 2.5, 3 years. And that's not even talking about the people who would jump into Uber, bro. I almost had to put my hands on a few people, man, to drag one dude out the car. Like, man, I had to put my hands on him. Like, man, get out the car, bro. You think you dealing with? It's like, oh man, all kind of stress. I could have hurt that man. I could have really did something to him. Then I would have got locked up. We want to talk about real stress. Go down to the Twin Towers in LA, get locked up in LA. Man, you want to talk about problems. You got problems. How do we deal with this stress? Last good man in Jersey's in the building. Especially when you're coming home to an empty apartment, like you don't have a significant other. Say what you want to say about relationships, bro, but I'm telling you, when you got somebody to come home to, like I got my daughter to come home to, man, just to see her smile. Like today, walked into the rehearsal and she just lit up like a Christmas tree, man. Come home and, you know, I got to fuss at her every day about her room. Room looks like it's this complete wreck, but it's fine. Just to, you know, it's hard to stay down when you have someone you love in the house with you. I have my daughter. You know what I mean? If you don't have kids, you got someone who cares about you, could come home to that. But when that's gone, how do you deal with it? Do you go buy a dog or a cat? Like, how do you deal with it? Do you go out, just smash some random chick? That's what I used to do. That could get you in a whole lot of trouble. Let me tell you, that could lead to problems on its own. This is why I tell guys when they go out, you're trying to deal with a woman, your head got to be right, man. You can't be depressed. You can't be down on yourself. You can't be feeling sorry for yourself. You can't be rebounded. If that's what you're doing, man, you need to be leaving these women alone. Don't do it. You have to have your mind right so you can see through the BS and find a good person versus a bad person. Because a bad person will take 100% advantage of you going through whatever you're going through. They'll take 100% advantage of that. And then your problems change. Like you go from this problem over here to this problem over here. How do you deal with it? How do you deal with it? Oh, yeah, bro. Dude's about to catch all that drama, man. Drill. Like DL out here putting paws on people. Man, listen. Dude was finna catch. He was finna catch hell. And it wasn't his fault, really, to be honest with you. What he did was stupid, but man, it was just a little bit annoying. But I wasn't in the right mindset. You've been there, bro. You're not in the right mindset. Next thing you know, you almost deleting some person. It ain't even that big. I remember once I was living in an apartment. And it's one of those apartments where they had trash services. So they didn't have like the chutes. It wasn't a high rise. So what you would do is leave your trash outside the doors, like a little box where you put it in, and they hire someone to come around and pick the stuff up, right? I never really liked that. Matter of fact, this was in Miami. This is a Florida thing. They do this to this day in Florida. And I never really liked that, but it is what it is. But where we were living, the trash area, like the big dumpsters, were right behind our building where we parked. So to me, it was like, why would you put the trash outside your door when you can just walk to your car? It's like 3 extra steps or whatever, 10 extra steps from your car. You can just throw it in the dumpster yourself. But you stupid, lazy people. So one day I come out of my door and there's like 2 bags of trash right there in my walkway, right there outside my door. 2 bags of trash, which came from the neighbor across the way. I was having a bad day, right? Again, my head wasn't right. There was something going on. My head just wasn't quite right. It wasn't a relationship thing. It wasn't a financial thing. I was just mad. You know, sometimes you're just in a bad mood, right? I opened up the door, man. I see that trash sitting there. And one of the bags had broke a little bit. So it's like slimy, sticky stuff coming out the bag. Man, I lost it, bro. Grabbed the bags, went right over to directly across the way. Beat on the door. They ain't answer the door. It's a good thing they didn't answer the door, man, because it would have got ugly, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you. It would have got ugly. Man, Joe, you talk about putting paws on somebody, man. I was ready. I was hot. So I took the trash. It had a little hole. Like I said, the leaky stuff was coming out. I shook the bag a little bit. That bag burst. So all the trash is all over their walkway now. And I took the other bag and just dropped it right in the middle. The whole time I'm looking right at the door. Like I know they behind the door looking through the peephole. Like, come on out here. I was so mad. Bring your motherfucking ass out here. They never came out. I went away. I was gone most of the day. I had cooled down or whatever. When I came back, all that trash was picked up on their side. It was all nice and clean. I mean, they had a bunch of stuff in front of their door, but all that stuff was gone. It was all nice and clean. You know what I'm saying? I ain't see that neighbor. It probably was ducking me. I ain't see that neighbor. You know what I mean? But I never had to worry about somebody else's trash in front of my door again. But again, because I was in the wrong mindset for whatever reason, I'm over here taking penitentiary chances. What if they did open the door? What if they had drama too? What if they was going through something too? Now we ready to get it on, the two of us, right? Somebody gonna get hurt, maybe worse, and the other person gonna get locked up. Why? Because we're not handling the stress or the adversity properly, man. So that's one of those things, man. Brother Michael in the building. What's good, fam? This is why you got to be in the right mindset when you're going out here chasing women. This is why you got to be in the right mindset when you just go out. You go into a bar, you go into a concert or whatever. Someone accidentally steps on your shoe, like, oh, sorry about that. Hey, no problem. As opposed to pulling out a pistol. You know what I mean? So you got to have the right mindset. Sometimes it is best to stay in the house when you're going through this stuff, right? You're going through your financial issue. Back to that, you're going through your financial issue. Like you're in the house. Friends are calling you, man. Just come out, man. We got it, man. Don't worry about it. You need to come out the house, man. We finna go over here to the lounge, man. We finna do this and do that, man. Just come on, bro. We got you, bro. We got the cover. We got the drinks, man. Don't worry about it. So you're like, all right, you get dressed, you go out, but your head still ain't right. You ain't ready to be around a whole bunch of people, let alone drunk people. You ain't ready to be out here with some of these women out here who got these attitudes and they talking crazy. Some of these dudes out here got these attitudes, they talking crazy. You ain't ready to receive that. So you go with your homeboys. You go out. And then what happens? Somebody bumps into you too hard. Somebody looks at you too hard. Like, what the hell are you looking at? Next thing you know, it's on. Right? And police get involved. Maybe you run away. Maybe you get away. Maybe you don't. Maybe you hurt somebody. Maybe you get hurt. You know, I've been there. We've been there, man. Jill will tell you. Get into a fight, man. Even if you win, stuff gonna hurt, man. I done broke these knuckles, man. I done hurt myself, fighting somebody. I done scuffed up my elbows, my knees. You know what I mean? I done caught blows. I done had black eyes, man. I got hit in my jaw. You know what I mean? I got people done pick me up and slam me down like a pack of nickels. Messed up my knees, messed up my ankles. You know what I mean? And I still won. Think about that. Like, man, I won, but I'm hurting. All because my mind wasn't right. So it's, when you dealing with this sort of stuff, in my opinion, when you're dealing with this sort of stuff, you might need to go ahead and sit down in the house for a couple of days. You might need to go ahead and just lay on that couch, lay on that sofa for a couple of days. Let the TV watch you pretty much. TV's on, but you ain't really watching it. You might need to binge on, your favorite TV program and watch a bunch of movies. Man, I tell you what, I remember once in LA. This is when I was heartbroken. It's one of the times I actually got my heart broke messing with the wrong one. Actually, this really happened yesterday. I tell people in the heartbeat, like, man, I've been through that. Myron says he ain't ever been through a heartbreak. Okay, I take him at his word, but I have. I've been through my share. So I went through one, broke all kind of rules, messing with a girl who was my neighbor. Neighbor like share walls. Never do that unless you on some real pimping. Unless you out there just smashing it. You're like you ain't no emotions in this. Don't ever let your emotions out on someone you're a neighbor with, man. Don't do it. Didn't work out. She was out there she was wilding because her life was kind of in shambles. Credit card debt, student loans, trying to finish up her school, living by herself with a ton of pets. That's, you want to talk about red flags. You walk into somebody's apartment. It didn't even own it. It was an apartment. And this woman had fish. She had 2 cats, 2 dogs, in a 1-bedroom, like 750 square feet. The place was a mess, bro. An absolute mess. This woman was a mess. Her apartment was a manifestation of what was going on inside her head. But my dumb ass just looking at that booty, and like I tell dudes all the time, be careful with your emotions, man. I let my emotions out. Like, I could work with her. I can make her better. Nah. So anyway, I'm like trying to deal with that. And man, I couldn't think properly or nothing. Man, I was doing all kind of stuff, bro. Like just dumb stuff, bro. And I knew better. Just doing dumb stuff. And it got to a point where I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna stay in the house for a few days. Just gonna stay in the house. I'm not gonna go outside because my anger and my emotions were just all out of sync. So I go out, get mad about something. And back then, especially, bro, I just be on you like a coke, bro. I just be on you like it's on. Risking it all. I ain't having any kids back then. It was just. So after I thought it was a good time for me to go out, my mind wasn't right. And I was going out, man. I went on a tear, bro. I would go out to the local lounge and bar, man. I was doing stuff I can't talk about on YouTube, bro. I definitely don't need a Patreon to talk about what I was doing. I was bringing them home 2 by 2, bro. And I didn't care, man. It was heartless. It was just me just wilding out, trying to get over these emotions that I let out. Was my fault. I was in this situation. Me, bro. It led to some issues. Just put it to you like that. That reckless behavior, because I wasn't in the right mindset, because I didn't deal with the situation. I went out there and just made the situation worse. Hey, that's not the correct way to deal with that type of adversity. Stay in the house. Stay in the house. Stay away from people. If you do go outside, just go walk by yourself. Go later at night. You know what I mean? I used to take long walks. That helped. I had a real good buddy, my buddy Rook. Rook was out there. This is when me and Rook was like super tight, man. We were going to the gym. Rook had me in the gym every day. We were taking long walks. You know what I mean? Long hikes, man. Like hard. Like it's like if we had Rooks on, it'd have been like military type stuff, man. Going up and down hills and mountains, doing all kind of stuff out there, bro. Just, he was talking to me. I had a solid dude who was like, nah, man, he was able to bring me out of it. You know what I mean? Shout out to Rook, man. Shout out to Rook, because he was able to bring me out of that. Dom DeMarco to Rook. He was able to bring me out. So, yes, you need family and friends you can turn to, or some pros. When you know your head ain't right, don't just go out there thinking you good, because you might hurt yourself even more. Right. And the reason I brought all this up, I just wanted to talk a little bit, man, just kind of ramble a little bit. I just wanted to talk a little bit because winter is here. Winter is not coming anymore, man. It's here. It's here. It's people out here, bro. I see them walking around, man. You see it. You see the look on their face, man. I see them. They dealing with some stuff, man. I see them going off on their kids because the kids are just doing kid stuff, man. Just running around, might fall down, tear their pants, man, and the parents will go crazy, go ballistic. Because they done tore a hole in their pants. Just bought them pants. They just go crazy. You know what I mean? It's not the kid's fault, man. Kids just doing kid stuff. The problem is I don't have enough money to buy another pair of pants. And I don't want to send that kid to school with these holes in their pants, but I'm going to have to, because I don't know how to sew. And I don't have the money to buy another pair of pants. That's why they mad. Ain't got nothing to do with the kid. I'm seeing it, man. People driving, they ain't even there, bro. You see them driving down the street, they ain't even there. You just look over, bro, like, man, I don't know where they at, but they are not right next to me driving. They just somewhere else, man. Pulling out into the intersection, slamming on the brakes, man. A quarter of the car sitting out into the lane. People were swerving around them. Why? Because they thinking, I ain't got enough money to put gas in here. I ain't got insurance, and I just almost got into an accident because I ain't paid the insurance. Or I ain't paid for the car. You got people hiding their cars because they done fell behind 2, 3, 4 payments behind. Now the bank trying to repossess the car, and they trying to hide the car. They trying to figure out, what do I do now? I need this car, blah, blah, blah. And then eventually they gonna find that car, bro. Winter is here. Be careful when y'all walking around, man. If you close with your friends and you notice that change in their demeanor, you notice that they ain't there. You doing one of these, like, yo, where you at? Be willing to sit down and work with them, man. Like, America has a credit problem. And on the other side of this credit problem, man, they're gonna have to fix their credit. There's people, I be driving by apartment complexes in nice neighborhoods, and you seeing people getting evicted, man. You see it. Like, oh man, they're getting evicted, man. Down in Georgia, they used to take your stuff. The law would have let you take their stuff out. In Ohio too. Once the eviction was through, they can take your stuff out and just put it on the grass. All your furniture, all your clothes, everything. You just come home and all your stuff is just laying in the grass. Can you imagine that day? You go from, I can't afford to go out to McDonald's for lunch, to all my stuff is in the grass. You're going to pop. You're going to pop, and you see somebody walking off in one of your jackets or something. You're going to pop. And if your friends are going through that, man, you got to help them out. You might not be able to help them out financially, but you can be there for them emotionally. You could be there so they can have someone to talk to, man, kind of be that rock for them so they can lean on, because they're going to need it. Winter is here. It ain't coming anymore, boy. Winter is here. The next year and a half is going to be rough, man. It's gonna be rough, man. Next 18 months. XFO's in the building. I see you, fam. Winter is here. I mean, I wish we could have come up with maybe, I don't know, 5 or 10 things you should do if you're feeling these things. Maybe we'll revisit this. I don't know. Maybe we'll revisit it. I don't know. But I mean, whatever works to help you get out of that funk, whatever works to help you get you back on your feet is what you need to do. Me, when I'm ready, I go outside, I walk around, and I start hustling. If it's a financial issue, man, write down all of your expenses. Write down all of your income. How much money you got coming in? What do your expenses look like? Go through your accounts, man. Go through your bank accounts, go through your credit card accounts. Make sure that every line item there is accounted for. What's this $13 for? What's this $5 for? What's this $2 for? What's this $70 for? Go through there and like write it all down. You need to see the big picture. Like, okay, do you have a deficit? If so, how much is it? Right? You're not the United States, man. You just can't keep printing money to kick the can down the road. All right, now I see what it is. You might be in a position where you're just breaking even. Like, okay, the amount of money I make, every dime goes out to bills and groceries and insurance and car note, right? And mortgage or rent and utilities. Every dime goes out to that. I don't have any money left over. Okay, now what am I going to do? Are you cool with that? You just going to sit in the house? Or you going to go out here and get yourself a side hustle? Maybe get you a part-time. Maybe work on weekends if you can. Or maybe, I used to work 2 jobs all the time. I used to have 2 full-time jobs. I would go to work from 3 to 11, and then I would go to work from 12 until 8 midnight. So I would work the second shift, and then I would work that graveyard, the third shift. And then I would come home, right? I would go 12 to 7. I would get home around 7:30, 7:45. I was in bed by 8, right? And I would sleep maybe 6 hours, wake up and do it all over again, except when the weekend hit. And once the weekend hit, yeah, I was out there doing my other hustle, street promotions and all that. So 2 full-time jobs, 1 hustle. And I was still underwater, y'all. This is back in Cincinnati. I still barely making bread. I don't think I made over $30,000 them 4 years I was home out of the military. I don't think I made over 30 grand. And then after 4 years, I get hired by the FAA. A couple months after that, 6 figures. Went from $30,000 to $105,000. What a swing, right? What a swing. But with more money comes more problems. I was in LA paying a ton of taxes, single, no kids. They were killing me. I didn't have an accountant at the time. I didn't know about write-offs and stuff like that. I didn't know about tax brackets. I didn't know. So I wasn't prepared. And I paid, man. I lost a lot of money. I had to do a lot of working. Man. Thank you, Brother Michael. So winter is here. Prepare yourself, people. How you going to deal with this? Winter is here. There's going to be some jealousy. You sitting around having financial problems, and then your friends, you might have a friend or two that's doing better than you. Be prepared to deal with that. It might be a little jealousy. It ain't that person's fault that they made the choices they made. You made the choices you made. It played out the way it played out. That person doesn't owe you anything either. So you're going to have to, when that happens, you're going to have to deal with it. Just like you have to be honest with yourself when you're dealing with your finances, when it's a financial issue, to see everything, put everything on the table and figure it out. You also have to be real when it comes to dealing with your friends and family. Like, the problem is you, not them. Don't be mad at them because they made better decisions than you. Or maybe they made worse decisions. They just didn't have to pay. It's just how it works, man. Sometimes somebody makes a dumb decision. I'm going to spend my last $100 on the lotto, and then they win $2 million. You're sitting there like, I can't. Hey, man, they made their choice. It is what it is. I have some very successful friends, and if I go through something, I ain't mad at my friends because I made my choices. I'm still there. But I'm realistic with myself. If I'm sitting around and I know my head ain't right, like if I know I'm too angry, I'm staying in the house. I know last weekend I didn't go out. The weekend before that, I was staying home because I was hurt. But it was an opportunity I could have gone out. I'm like, I'm not going anywhere. I'm gonna stay in the house. And I was just like, man, I don't know, man. I'm just gonna stay in the house. I just didn't. I'm like, nah, I'm listening to that inner voice, man. Sit your ass down, bro. Don't go outside today, man. Don't go outside. Dropped my daughter off and her mom came home. I stayed in the house. I was working on stuff, doing, working on my whiteboard, doing what I was doing, what I do. I'm like, I'm not going out. Right. And then back to the financial stuff. You'd be surprised how much money you save if you just stay home and don't go out. You know what I mean? Just don't go out. Easily save $50 a week, if not more. It's $20 a month. Just by sitting in the house, man, cooking, cleaning. You know what I mean? Watching your favorite TV show, reading a book. Stay in the house. Stay in the house. When you know things ain't right, you ain't feeling right, don't go outside, man. Make the situation worse. Be honest with yourself. Like, bro, I need to stay in the house. Even if people are telling you to come out, like, nah, man, I'm staying in the house, bro. Man, just come on out. Nah, man, I ain't trying to catch a case. I'm in that mood. I'm in that mood right now, boy. I got voices in my head and they talking to me. Y'all remember that hip hop song? Who made it? I think was it Outkast? I hear voices in my head. They keep calling me. I hear voices in my head. They keep calling me. When those voices are calling you, man, stay in the house. Don't go outside. Don't go outside, bro. And if you do have a significant other, utilize them, bro. Be open with them. Let them know what's going on. Like, hey, that's your woman or that's your man. You should be able to tell them, hey, I ain't quite right. Hey, I got these problems financially. I got this going on. And let them help you. That's your woman. That's your man. Let them help you. Tell them exactly how you feeling. Like, I'm feeling violent, man. I don't think I should go out. Because a lot of times you be with a woman and you agree to go to a Cheesecake Factory, and then you're like, hey, babe, I shouldn't go. I ain't feeling right. I'm having one of them days, baby. I think we should just stay home. And then she starts doing this, and you go anyway. You went from 10 to 15. You were already 10, saying, let's just stay home before I do something. Now she doing this because she wants to go to Cheesecake Factory, and you promised. Now you get to Cheesecake Factory, you at 10, you at 15. Because the whole time she's just doing this. It ain't her fault, but I'm just saying. Like, well, what do you do about that, You know you with the wrong woman. Because if you go out there and do something to somebody, she gonna be sitting up there talking to the police like, I don't know, I don't get it. I don't know why he went off like that. I don't know, I don't get it. She over there with the police. You in the back of the car with your hands pinned behind you. You know what I mean? Looking at 3 or 4 charges of this. You know what I mean? Disorderly conduct. You know what I mean? Felony, assault, something like that. Who knows, what kind of property damage or whatever. You back there looking at that. Under arrest. You got a woman's gonna force you to go out, even though you know the voice is telling you to stay home, man. You got the wrong woman, bro. Go take a walk. Go take a walk. Leave. Don't get mad at her. Don't do nothing to her. Just leave. She can't do all this if she don't know where you at, man. Get up out of there. Go see your homeboys. Go see your family. Go somewhere. Go to the bowling alley. Just watch people bowl. Listen to the noise. Brother Don 007, what's good, fam? Good to see you. Hey, how much money did you save when you couldn't get out because of the pandemic? I stopped driving by then. When the pandemic hit in LA, I stopped driving Uber. And I didn't save a lot of money because I still had to work. Air traffic controllers were deemed essential, which was stupid. We weren't an air carrier airport. Where I was working, it was where all of the 1%ers had their jets. So they kept the airport open, and they had pilot instructors giving classes. So they're sitting shoulder to shoulder, literally shoulder to shoulder in these little bitty small Cessnas, teaching people how to fly. Meanwhile, we're up in the tower trying to distance ourselves. We had rules. We're going to have a couple controllers up there because we only had so much room to keep the distance. Man, that was hard. I didn't save a whole lot of money. Because restaurants were open, we were able to go pick up food to go. You just had to put a mask on or whatever. So I was In fact, it's probably spending more money because they made us go to work. It would have been easier to stay home, just go to the grocery store. I would have saved some money. But yeah, bro, we didn't. And that was like my final 18 months. Like I left and came here, and Florida was way different. During the pandemic or whatever. Florida was way different. Tampa was open when I got here. So um yeah, I didn't save a lot in Cali. And I was mad too. I didn't want to be there. Again, my head wasn't right. And that's what led to the end of my career. Dealing with the family court system, dealing with, the attorneys and all that, having to deal with all that, trying to work to make up the shortcoming because I lost a lot of money. And then the pandemic hits, and then they did us the way they did us. I don't like that was it. I had to go to my doctor to actually get help. You know what I mean? It was just too much for me to handle. I had to go to my doctor to get help. And the help that the doctor prescribed me did not allow me to be an air traffic controller. I couldn't do it. It was a permanent disqualification of the medical. You need to have you have to have a medical clearance to be an air traffic controller. It's similar to being a pilot. And that was it. That was the end of my career. Came out here. The rest is history. You know what I mean? So like that whole thing was just, man, that's crazy. Appreciate you, bro. I'm here for you. Hey, brother Michael. Appreciate that, man. Like I'm here for you, Saint, man. Hey, man, I'm here for you, bro. This is why I like this platform. But I just kind of wanted to. This wasn't really a normal show or a live where we're trying to explore something. It was just really me just talking, man. I want people to understand like it's here, man. I want people to understand like it's hard out here. It's about to get tougher, bro. It's about to get harder. I'm hoping people will maybe watch this, maybe start thinking of some ideas of how to handle this. A lot of people, man, they're going through the stress and don't even realize that they're stressed. They just don't even realize it. Like, bro, you under a lot of pressure. You on that rat wheel, man. You just running. And you ain't got time to assess your situation. You can't even see that. All you got to do is stop and get off the wheel. And now you can sit and you see what's going on and plan stuff out, figure it out. For those people who might know small families or single families out there and the financial burden is too much, man, there are food pantries. Look it up online, wherever you live in, there are food pantries. Don't get to the point where you too proud to go to the food pantry, man. Get you some milk, get you some eggs. Get some canned goods for the kids, get some snacks. Don't get to that point where you think you're too proud to do that. If you don't have it, you don't have it. You need to do everything you can here in America to survive this trying time that we are in. I think it's going to be about 18 months, maybe 2 years on the outside. But I'm thinking around 18 months of real pain before it turns around. Don't be too proud. It ain't begging. These pantries are set up to help. Right? When they be doing food drives, man, out here in Tampa, man, I'll be driving. You'll see cars lined up. Well, in California, especially, they used to do it. See cars lined up for miles. Like, man, what's that, man? They giving away groceries, giving away turkeys, giving away chickens and canned goods and fruit and all that for the families. Milk, cereal, eggs. And you better jump on that. And you drive by there, I mean, you see Range Rovers and X7s and, you know what I'm saying, GLEs. Bro, I mean, you saw all kind of brand new cars up in there, waiting their turn to get that food. You over here looking at your neighbor thinking your neighbor got it going on, man. Their situation might be way worse than yours. Way worse, bro. They might be in stifling debt, crushing debt. Got all them cars, everything they got financed. Got no money in the bank. You over there looking at them like you comparing your situation to their situation. Their situation might be horrible. Don't be looking across the street thinking they got it going on, man. Don't be worrying about what they're doing over there. If you got to go to the food pantry, man, the food bank or whatever, go down to the food bank and feed your family. Simple as that. If you don't have insurance, there are companies that go around in certain states, certain cities, and they offer free medical. They'll take a day. They'll have dentists set up there. They'll have regular doctors, MDs set up there. Skin doctor, you go in there, man. They'll take care of you, man. Like if you got one of those, like some sort of skin condition needs to be drained or whatever, they'll take care of. If you got like an abscess or whatever, a dental condition, you go in there, man. All you got to do is go online, look this stuff up, man. If you find that they coming close to you, then that's worth driving, 100 miles one way so you can go get some free medical care. They'll go in there, man. They'll get your prescription for your eyes. There are companies that do this in America, man. You go out there, they'll take care of you. And all those medical personnel, they do it for free. They do it for free, man. You go in there, you sign up. And again, you go to something like that. I saw this on 60 Minutes, man. There was a guy he was like an aviator, like a pilot. He would set this stuff up and he would go like to Appalachia, man, and like to the Midwest and down to the South. And he would set these things up and they would do a full day, sun up to sundown. And people would show up, man, 18 hours before, getting in line so they can make sure they get these medical needs met. And this is America, bro. Like, being homeless in America, going through these tough times in America is bad, but it's not like going through the same tough times in Colombia. It's not that bad. It's not like being in Somalia. It's not that bad. Like, it's bad for us, but it's not like Cuba. It's not that bad. Mexico, it ain't that bad. It's bad, but it ain't that bad. I always remember that. Somebody going through way worse. I don't care what your situation that is. At the end of the day, you're in America. You get access to clean water or somewhat clean water. Florida, it's tricky. A lot of swamp water. The water smells funny. Get you a bottle of water down here, but for the most part, you can get yourself some clean water. Man, don't just sit around feeling sorry for yourself, man. Figure it out, man. You gotta take care of you, take care of your family. Do whatever you gotta do. We'll ride this out. You get through this 18 months, whatever, it's over. And then you can go out there. Now you see, okay, companies start hiring again, the banks start lending again. Right now, you're starting to get some pretty good terms. Yeah, they're going to spank you a little bit on the interest rate, but the interest rates will start coming down. The banks will start loaning money. It is what it is. You rebuild your credit, get back on your feet, and learn from it. Don't do it again. Like, learn from it. You know what I mean? That's what we got to do. But when that time comes, man, that adversity hits, bro. Understand that's what you're going through. And understand that you can't hide from it. I think I can leave. I think we can leave with that. You cannot hide from it. You can't just curl up in the ball and think it's just going to go away. It's not. You can't put your head in the sand like an ostrich. It's not going away. Those bill collectors are going to keep coming for their money, right? Your mortgage company or your bank or your whoever you renting from, they're going to want their money. It's not just going to stop. It leads to the next step. So if you're going through some financial stuff, man, call these people up, man. Don't be dodging the phone calls. Call these people up. Maybe you can set something up. Maybe they can, hey, we put you on a plan. Hey, can you afford to pay this much and then pay a little extra here? Maybe they might be able to do that. Maybe they'll be able to offer you a position. If you living in an apartment complex or something like that, maybe they got some work there that you can do. You can go in there and work something out. Like, hey, I see that y'all need some maintenance personnel. I don't have much experience, but I know how to push a broom or something. They might be able to work something out with you. All right, yeah, we'll hire you. They might be able to do that. Now you're working where you live. That's a good situation. At least you're getting a little extra money in. Right? The point is, you just can't sit back and think that it's all just going to go away. It's not. You can't just sit back and think somebody else is going to come take care of it. It's not. You might be in a position where you have to file for bankruptcy. You might be in that position. Look it over. There's nothing wrong with it. It's legal. Yeah, they changed the bankruptcy laws, but it's still there to help you. You're not going to get rid of the student loan debt, but you might be able to take care of everything else. Right? You might be able to take care of those unsecured credit cards. I would suggest that you wait. I mean, I'm no expert in anything like that, but I would definitely use that as a last ditch effort. Like, that's the absolute last resort is bankruptcy. If you got real bad credit card problems, there are companies out there that can help you get that under control. They'll go out there and negotiate and get you out of that debt. Yeah, you take a hit to your credit, but it's not as bad as the 7 years you're going to face if you go through bankruptcy. You can go through there, and then they have companies that'll work with you on the other end of that, take you maybe 2 or 3 years to get out of all your debt. They'll set up a plan. You just send them the money and they do the rest. You could do that, or you could do it on your own. Just call up all your creditors and work out something. You can do that. The point is, you got to do something. Give yourself maybe a week or so to sit back and feel sorry for yourself, to get mad, to cry, do whatever you're going to do. Give yourself maybe a week. If that's what it takes, a few days a week. If it takes 2 weeks, fine. But then get up and get yourself up after that. Get out there and fix the issue. You got to face it head on. Fix the issue. It ain't going away. Brother Mandrell, when do you think the pain will start? I estimate early next year. I think the pain has already begun, bro. But I think we're going to be in the thick of it early next year. I could definitely see Q1 2025 is going to be like the beginning of the worst of it. But I think we've already started. Kind of like what Danielle DiMartino Booth said, the official recession. I think when it's all said and done, they're going to go back and say, yeah, it was like October, maybe November is when America officially went into recession. I think it's already begun. I think we already know, like you look at the default rates, people are really struggling to pay these bills, man. Like the dollar just isn't as strong as it used to be. Now folks are going to go out, we're going to get to see what we made of. But yeah, man, I think it's going to be Q1 next year for sure. I think that's when we're going to enter like the worst part of it for sure. For sure. Unemployment rates are going to climb up there a little bit for sure. It's going to be hard. Like, people are going to have to, really step it up. People are going to have to swallow their pride and go out here and put on a Wendy's uniform and go to work at Wendy's or Perkins or something like that. Maybe work at the grocery store bagging if they can get the job, because those are some pretty good jobs. Actually, I ain't gonna lie to you, especially for part-time. I think it's gonna hit around there. Yeah, look at that. Like Brother Don was like, yep, after the election, cancel Christmas. Facts. Brother Mike is like, you rock, Unc. Man, I appreciate it, man. We just here having a conversation. That's why I love this platform, bro. Just so y'all to know, tomorrow we're gonna have a conversation with a beautiful young female comic out of Miami. I'm gonna have the thumbnail done tonight. She's real cool. I met her at a comedy festival up here in Tampa. She actually is a YouTuber and stuff like that, man. So we're gonna have a good conversation, man. We're gonna talk about, we're going to talk about what it's like to be a female comic in today's, world. We're going to talk about how the face of comedy has changed a little bit. We're going to talk about dating. She's in Miami. She knows who Myron and Fresh are. Like, she personally knows Myron. One of her friends used to mess with Myron. She was telling me. So, of course, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about feminism and red pill and how the two have changed the sexual marketplace. And we're going to talk about, we're going to talk about finances. We're going to talk about the economy. We're going to talk, we're going to have a good conversation. It's going to be a fun one, y'all. So it's going to be tomorrow, 6 p.m. I Really Want to Know podcast. Like, she sent me pictures and everything. I just haven't had time to do the thumbnail. So we're doing the thumbnail. We're doing the thumbnail tonight. And her name is Jamie Lee Simmons. Jamie Lee Simmons, y'all. She's going to be on the show tomorrow. She's a real cool girl, man. I keep saying girl because I think she's so sweet, but she's a really cool woman. I can't wait to have this conversation. It's going to be good. Life of Cash is in the building. What's good, fam? Yo, I hope you can make it on the 22nd, man. We're going to come party with your boy, man. Will Ghostin, man. We can Comedy Yard at Status on the 22nd, man. We got a really good show lined up, man. We bringing in Will's favorite comic from LA, the comedian CP is what he calls himself. Bro, get those tickets now. We're only selling 200 tickets. We're anticipating a sellout, bro. I hope you can make it. I sent you the information. But Life of Cash, yeah, adversity, steal your mind. That's what you have to do, bro. There's a lot of people who just wasn't raised to deal with adversity, man. Everybody gets a trophy, bulldozer parents, those helicopter parents. This is why it's so bad and it's such a detriment to these kids, because they don't know how to deal with life when life gets hard. They turn to mom and dad. Well, what if mom and dad isn't there anymore? They don't know how to deal with this. That's why it's so dangerous. We're definitely going to be talking about this topic. I'm going to find some pros that can actually give us, the top 5 things you should do when you're going through this kind of thing, bro. We're definitely going to come back and revisit this probably in Q3. But I agree with Mandrell. It's going to be the absolute worst Q1 of next year. And Brother Cash is saying, don't be afraid of the worst. Imagine what it can be, and then fight like hell to create options, network, find resources, and continue learning, earning, and helping others. Fire, bro. Fire. Thank you. Because that's what I wanted. I wanted y'all to tell me how to deal with this shit, man. That's fire, bro. I wanted you. you know what I mean, to tell me how to deal with that. Brother Michael, how you deal with adversity, bro? You know what I mean? How do you handle that, man? Like when you're down, man, when you're depressed, man, depression is real, bro. Andrew Tate says depression isn't real. And when you watch that episode that he did a couple years ago on Fresh and Fit, and you got to see what he was talking about, I agree with what he was talking about. And what he was saying is you just got to keep pushing and fighting. You know what I mean? Depression, man, that stress will kill you, bro. Brother Michael, how do you deal with the stress? How do you deal with the adversity? Life of Cash, meditation, mindfulness, healthy diet. Yes. Practicing gratitude and exercise are extremely helpful in difficult times. Yeah. Yeah. That point right there, bro. Thanks for that, man. That point right there, Cash. Practicing gratitude, man, being happy for what you have as opposed to focusing on what you believe you don't have. You know what I mean? It's like I said, Myron says this all the time when guys call in and talk about crying and boo-hoo. It's like, bro, you live in a country where you have clean running water. Right? We got electricity. You know what I mean? Fly over North Korea. There's no electricity in North Korea. Right? Even when you, like I said, we got food pantries here, man. Like if it gets bad enough, man, all you got to do is find a food pantry, man. You can go up there and get you a couple bags of groceries. That could save you a couple $100 right there. We talking about making a shortfall. Think about that, man. Now, I don't know anybody who's giving out free gas. That hasn't happened yet, but there are other ways that you can save, man. You know, and be grateful. Like, man, just be grateful you woke up and your body works. Everything works, man. You wake up, man, everything works. It's on you to go out there and figure it out. You know, we started Comedy Arc with my partner, man. My brother Darren. And this has just been a dream of his. And he was just talking, man. I'm at a strip club having dinner, and he's one of the top security guys. And we're just talking. He's like, man, I had this dream that I want to run a really good comedy show. A comedy venue. I've always wanted to do it. And I got this opportunity because I know the owner, and the owner is going to give me this night at this club. He's like, all I got to do now is figure out the comedy thing. And I was like, stand-up comedy? He's like, yeah. And he and I have known each other for a little over a year. I'm like, bro, you know, I'm a comedian, man. I've been doing this for over 20 years. It's like, what? Like, will you help me? I'm like, yeah. Yeah. Now here we are, 2 months in. 2 months in, and we're making inroads. He's working hard, and I'm helping him. So I appreciate dude every day. You know what I mean? I'm grateful. He gave me the opportunity just to help him. I could sit back and watch this man with a brand new family, a baby, a wife, a new wife, and he's out here maintaining what he already has, and he's trying to build and grow his own brand. And I'm right there to help him out, man. I'm grateful for that. Even if my situation might not be right, I could sit back and be like, but hey, man, at least we were able to build this. I helped build that right there. Right? And just keep meeting people. I got off the phone today with a promoter, a retired police officer from the Northeast down here in Tampa. We had an amazing call. And we have a mutual friend who put us in touch with each other. Man, we had an amazing call talking about doing some big things. You know, like, you got to be grateful, man. Be grateful that you woke up and there's an opportunity to improve your situation. So Life of Cash is right, man. Practicing gratitude, man. That's a big one, y'all. That's a big one, man. You know, that's what's up. Pain is with white collar jobs right now. Yeah, it starts there, bro. It's a lot of pain with the white collar jobs, man. They are getting hit, and it's not just the tech industry. They are getting hit. Management types are getting hit. UPS, FedEx. You know what I mean? Some of these smaller companies, they're big but small. You know, technically a small business, but they got, like, you know, they're getting hit. Managers are getting laid off. AI is replacing a ton of people. You know, you look at Google, you look at Amazon, you look at Tesla. You know what I mean? Look at what's going on, bro. This is definitely going to filter down. Like, these people are getting severance, but that severance is going to run out year tops. You know what I mean? And then, like, brother, you're right. Brother Cash is right. Management is trending. Yeah, Gen AI, like zero interest rates and misallocating capital and resources. Yeah, man. The banks are not lending. Money is not cheap anymore. The gravy train is over for now. And people have been living on credit, and it's like, how are they going to be able to pay this credit back. You know, vets out here, you know, we're vets, we got VA, there's a little bit of help there. But most people don't serve. That's another thing too. As a vet, man, I go to VA, get medical stuff. I keep my medical because of my daughter, but my daughter will be grown pretty soon. So I already know on the horizon, like, well, I'm gonna have this and this, and I can do that. And I'm grateful because I'm able, even with my sore shoulders and my bad knees and my weird back, I can still get up and do stuff, man. I can drag stuff around. I can pick up furniture, bro. I'm always grateful. Even if things are bad, I still looked to be grateful that I'm here in America and I'm not in Sinaloa, Mexico, or I'm not in Somalia, like in Mogadishu somewhere. Could you imagine? Could you imagine? You know what I'm saying? Appreciate that, bro. Yeah, comment, like, and subscribe. Smash that like button if y'all don't mind. Brother Michael, never take anything for granted. That's a good one, bro. That is a good one, bro. Never take anything for granted. Even if you got a beat up used car, beats not having a car. That's a fact. That's a fact. Even if you got a beat up used car, don't take that for granted. It's a beat up used car. And if you're real lucky, it's paid for, right? You ain't financing nothing. It's paid for. And then if you know how to do your own brakes, change your own oil, you can kind of work on your car and keep it running. Excellent point, bro. And it's hard to see that stuff when it just seems that everything is piling up on you. It's hard to see it. It's hard to be grateful for what you have. I got a refrigerator with food in it right now. I got a freezer with food in it right now. My daughter going there and I went to Trader Joe's. Got my daughter her favorite macaroni and cheese. It's good stuff too. You guys go to Trader Joe's. Well, they got the best frozen mac and cheese I've ever had, man. I told y'all before, I ain't lying. It's so good. She'll make her mac and cheese. Happy. Like, what you want for dinner tonight? Oh, I just do some mac and cheese. She's just happy. I got a healthy child right downstairs, man, in her room, doing her thing. She's crocheting. She taught herself how to crochet. She had band practice. Her dad was there. She just is happy her dad came to watch her rehearse. I mean, I'm grateful for that, man. Even if my situation was bad, I'm grateful for that. Like, bro, I got this. I got somebody. I got somebody that cares about me, right? Got somebody that's going to help pull me out of this hole I'm in. You know what I mean? If you find yourself in that situation, I got somebody. I got a reason to crawl out of the hole, right? You got to be grateful. It's something you can be grateful for. It's people out there who ain't got nothing. Nobody cares about me. There's somebody out there that cares about you, bro. There's somebody out there. There's something you can be grateful for. Like Brother Mike said, you got a used car, man, but it's yours to pay for. You know how to fix it. Man, that's a huge win. Brother Mandrell, I've just spent $200 on groceries tonight, bro. Yeah, man. Eating healthy is expensive. It's expensive. It's one of the traps in America. And when you start, like when it gets bad, you know, it's hard to maintain that healthy lifestyle because you got to eat something. And that's a shame, bro. But yeah, $200, man. When I just went to buy my daughter her mac and cheese, and I bought some other stuff like got some cashews, and I bought like a frozen pizza and some other stuff, like, you know, like some grapes, some other stuff, right? The stuff that I buy at Trader Joe's, I buy the same thing, the same amount, the same, you know, I buy the same stuff. And I swear to you, I spent like 30% more on the same stuff, the same bag of stuff that I always buy. It's 30% more than I paid for the same stuff last year, bro. Mind you, I didn't get any milk. I didn't, no dairy. I didn't get any cheese or any eggs or anything like that. The pain is here. It's here. It's here. The pain is here. Brother Michael's like, I always have food in my fridge. At least I have food. People got to sleep hungry. Man, bro. Yeah, people go to sleep hungry. I've done that in my life, man. That is being hungry, bro. Especially in a country like America where you're surrounded by food and wastefulness, man. There's people, their kids going to bed hungry tonight, man, for real. Because their parents have maybe they put their head in the sand and you know, they're too proud to go down to the food pantry. They're too proud to go out there and you know, get the WIC or whatever. Say what you want about that program, man. Getting them kicks and that government cheese, man, that makes the best grilled cheese, bro. You cut them thick slices of cheese. That's the best grilled cheese, that government cheese, bro. I'm here to tell you. You got kids, you get that WIC, man. They come and bring a box of kicks, some milk, and some eggs. That's a program for women. If you got a kid, I forget. I think, and it doesn't matter how much you earn either. I think the child just has to be up to a certain age. I forget the age, but I remember that growing up, man. Come home like, yeah, you got that government cheese, bro. That milk got some kicks. I'm eating that today. You know, there was some dude who got in trouble. I don't know if it was Jamie Dimon, but it was one of those dudes. I know it's a guy who's actually, I guess he's CEO or some C-suite level with one of the cereal manufacturers, you know, maybe Kellogg's or something like that. And the guy's like, yeah, Americans are experiencing difficulties. He's like, well, you should just be eating cereal 3 times a day, and that'll save you this much money on your grocery bill. Cereal, all the sugar. He's talking about like Frosted Flakes or something like that. He called hell for that. It just shows you how far removed people are. But I'm here to tell you, man, black folk and people from the trailer park, people from the barrio, been eating cereal for dinner. We been on that, bro. What you talking about? Been on that. I can remember eating corn flakes for dinner. No sugar, just corn flakes. I can remember eating Rice Krispies. And if we were lucky, maybe have some bananas, cut the bananas up in there, and I'm eating that for dinner. So I don't have to go to bed hungry like Brother Michael was talking about. You know what I'm saying? We been on that, bro. What you talking about? Peanut butter and jelly sandwiches for dinner. We been on that, man. And I think that's where we're headed. And it's gonna be tough, man. But you know, like I said, we're gonna keep talking about this, man. Like I think, you know, hopefully this conversation can help someone. Someone needs to hear this, man. Maybe we could clip some of this stuff and send it to them. Like it's nothing to be ashamed of, man. We all get ourselves in these situations sometimes. You know, sometimes we just ain't good with money. Sometimes we just ain't good with relationships. You know, sometimes we don't have the discipline to keep our emotions in check, and we let them out on the wrong people. And then we got to deal with it. It's fine. Just deal with it. Don't give up. Don't delete yourself. You know what I mean? All is not lost. The sun will come up tomorrow. You know what I mean? You do have things to be grateful for. Just deal with it. Face it head on. Just deal with it. Push through. You know what I mean? Yeah, Life of Cash has a good point. Talking to Brother Mike, it was like, yeah, check the value on your used vehicle, man. Chip shortages and supply disruptions increase or maintain used car value. That's a fact. That's a fact. The used car market is so messed up right now. People can't get financing. So if you have a used car, bro, and it's, you know, let's say you got a car that's like, you know, maybe in that $10,000 range, maybe a little less, you know, certainly if it's around that, you know, $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 range or less, bro, you're gonna get top dollar for that. The problem is, what are you gonna do for another car? You know what I mean? Like, oh, I got $6,000 for my used car. What are you gonna do for the next car? If you have excellent credit, you can get financing on cars right now. It's just the deals, there are great deals out there, but the dealers are so upside down with their business that, you know what I mean, they might try to screw you over. But yeah, you can get a lot of money if you sell your car yourself. If you take it to the dealer, they're gonna try to get over on you. And there are people out there who can't get financing, so they are forced to buy cash. So they're forced to come up with that $4, $5, $6, $7, $8,000 to go buy a car. And if you got a good maintained used car, bro, you might be able to get that. You might be able to get way more. Way more. And Life of Cash always talking about, yeah, man, eat cereal and let them eat cake. Exactly, man. Who was that? Marie Antoinette. Did she say that? Then let them eat cake. They're out of bread. We'll let them eat cake. That's why there's another reason why we got to know our history. He said that, man. But like I said, man, poor folk, man, or folks who been on the other side of the tracks and just struggling to come up, man, we been on that, bro. Been on that. Time I ain't got nothing to eat, man. Some cereal in there. Got some milk in there. I remember having cereal and having to put water in it, or get like that Carnation, that the powdered milk. We have to mix up the powdered milk as kids. We'll mix it up, powdered milk, and then pour it in our cereal. God, that stuff was nice. And the Carnation stuff was good, but the powdered milk, man, God, that stuff was nasty, man. It was like Korea War surplus, man. Powdered milk, I think it was, man. Damn. I just rather put water in there. We eating cereal with water, man. It's what we had to do, bro. It's what we had to do. My daughter don't know nothing about that. She can eat what she want. She'll go in there and talk about ain't nothing to eat. Well, why don't you make some spaghetti? I don't want some spaghetti. Well, why don't you warm up that chicken in there? I don't want any chicken. Well, why don't you make yourself a turkey burger? We got ground turkey in there. I don't want a turkey burger. Thought you just said there wasn't nothing in there to eat. And when we went into the kitchen, bro, you open up the kitchen, be nothing in the refrigerator, be nothing in the cabinets, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like when it was nothing to eat, it was nothing to eat. Like, bro, we ain't got nothing to eat up in here. Then you go into the pantry, might be a couple potatoes, man. You know, cut the potatoes up. You know what I mean? And fry them up. If you got some onions, cut the onions in there, fry them up. Put a little ketchup on there. At least you got yourself some potatoes. You know what I mean? Put some salt and pepper on there. If you got, you know what I mean, some seasoning salt. At least you got that. Man, we did all that, Brother Cash. Now is a great time to pick up new skills, learn the code in Python. I'm gonna look that up, man, because I'm working on different languages right now and doing the promotional stuff. But Python, huh? Look into that. Learn skills that are foundational or adjacent to growing opportunities. Yeah. And I was telling people too, like, man, you might want to learn how to, credit repair, bro. Because on the other side of this, man, 18, maybe 24 months down the road, it's going to be a lot of people who need that credit repair. That might be a really good opportunity to, get a good side hustle going on. Brother Vikings in the building. Overwatch checking in. Appreciate you, bro. We're looking at Miami, man. I just had a conversation with a promoter, a cool brother out of the Northeast, man. He said he has an opportunity down in Miami. We might be doing something down there. Like I said, I've been on track to do Q2, Q3 of this year. And with him, yeah, man, I'm looking into it. I'll let you know, bro. Might be in Miami. You know what I mean? Yeah, Brother Cash, like the paradox of too many choices, full pantry, nothing to eat. Yeah, man, those are, first world problems, ain't it? Like all this stuff in here. We got rice, got some rice over here, we got chicken. You want to warm up some chicken? We can make some rice. We got the rice, boil in the bag, man. You can boil the rice up, make some chicken. We got canned vegetables up here. You know what I mean? Open up a can of peas and carrots, maybe some corn. There you go. Got some bread. You can grill up some bread, put some garlic on it. Got some garlic bread. What's wrong with that? I don't want chicken, Papa. There's nothing to eat. No, what you don't want is in there. You know what I mean? I want this and it's not in there. So there's nothing to eat. That's crazy. Brother Cash, like DL, I got a free coupon for you to use a Udemy course. Check your DMs. All right, bet. Appreciate it, man. Thank you. I'll check it out. I have no idea what it is. I'm sure it has something to do with Python. I'll check it out, man. Thank you. And hey, Cash, man, we got, not only do we have the comedy show coming up on the 22nd, but the nights get together the third Tuesday of every month. This coming meeting in March, we're doing a networking event at the Edge rooftop over there in High Park. So I'm gonna have that flyer done tonight as well. So I'll send that to you, man. We're just doing a networking event, man. We got people coming out. We're just gonna have a couple drinks, kind of network, open it up to not just the Templars, but to everyone else. We're inviting folks, kind of like a membership drive, but really just a networking event. So I'm gonna send you that information, bro. I really hope you can make it. It'll be good to see you, man. Brother Viking, yep. I know all about picking water over powdered milk in my stale Captain Crunch. Yeah, bro, putting that water in, picking water over powdered milk. Man, that's old school, bro. Especially in Captain Crunch, get all soggy with the water. But if you got sugar, put a little sugar water in there. You know what it is. Yeah, Hyde Park is definitely a dope neighborhood, man. In fact, we have another venue that we're looking at. It's a place called Avenue Blue. They're on Howard. It used to be called something else, but they rebranded. I think they're under new ownership. Man, that's a good spot, bro. I'm gonna send you their Instagram. They're currently doing stuff over there, man. They had a speed dating thing. They had a date night painting thing, and they also had this networking event. In the same night they had the painting and the networking event. Bro, it's fire. I am trying my hardest to get us in there to do something. We know the owners. The owners are open to the conversation. We just gotta find the time to sit down and discuss what we're gonna do, man. We're making moves, man. Cash, man, you gotta come out, bro. You gotta come out. We're making some moves, bro. We're trying to do something up here in Tampa. We're trying to do something, bro. So I'm gonna end it there, y'all. But winter is here, guys. Winter is here. For those of you who might be watching this on Team Replay, man, and you hear what I'm saying, bro, and you going through it right now. All right. It's okay to feel sorry for yourself for maybe a day or two, but you're gonna have to get back on your feet. Yeah, you're going through it. It ain't going nowhere. You got yourself into the situation. You're gonna have to get yourself out. And the only way to get yourself out of the situation and to make the correct decisions is you need to know everything about your finances, everything about your situation. If it's an emotional thing, if you got family issues, whatever, you can't run from the facts. You have to get all the facts there, put it on the table, figure everything out, and make the best decision. Don't be proud, man. If you ain't got no food and the kids are hungry, you better take your butt on down there to that food pantry, man, get you some groceries. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Right? It ain't nothing wrong with that. If you got to go out here and get you a second job, man, and put on the McDonald's outfit, man, and work the drive-through in your neighborhood, man, and that's what you got to do. Don't be worried about who see you in there. And man, I used to be a baller. Now I'm wearing a McDonald's visor and I'm taking people's orders. So what? You're taking care of business, man. You're taking care of business. It's never too late to hit those big numbers. It's never too late to level all the way up. Ray Kroc, he didn't find the McDonald's brothers until he was in his 50s, bro. That dude died one of the richest men ever. He didn't do that until his 50s, man. So if you in your 20s or your 30s and you have a little hiccup, you hit this pothole, man, go out there and do what you got to do, man. Don't worry about how people see you. And those very same people you worried about thinking, oh man, they must be thinking the worst of me. Them same people going through the exact same thing you're going through. They might walk up to you and ask you how to get a job. Hey man, how'd you get this job, man? Can you get me on? I'm for real. When we get to the worst part of this, when we get to quarter one of 2025, bro, people gonna want that job at McDonald's. They're gonna want that job at Burger King. I'm telling you, man, it's gonna be hard finding jobs. If you're going through a financial issue, man, now's the time to get out here and start making more money. People say money isn't the answer. Like a lot of times it is. A lot of times it is. Yeah. Brother Cash, like, absolutely. Yeah, man, we gotta get you out here, bro. Like I said, we got the show on the 22nd. And then we also have the we're gonna have some networking events coming up. Man, we gotta get you out here, bro. We gotta see you. And yeah, even Miss AKA lady, she said she's coming to the show on the 22nd. Just want to throw that out there. Her and at least one of her homegirls, they're gonna make the trip out from Orlando to come check out the show. It's gonna be a good comedy show, y'all. That's gonna be the best show of the year, this year so far. Winter is here. You are absolutely right, Brother Viking. I'm a type 1 diabetic, but we didn't have sugar most of the time. So I'd also drink my grape Kool-Aid without eating. Ooh, grape Kool-Aid with no sugar. Oh my God, bro. But yeah, you gotta do what you gotta do, man. Take care of that diabetes, man. Like the only way out is up. Facts. Hustle. Yep. Hustle before you have to. That's right. Hustle now. That's why I do it. Hustle now before you absolutely have to. The 22nd, man. Yeah. I sent you all that information, man. 22nd, man. Comedy Arc at Status, man. That is the Will Ghostin Presents in association with us. I'm hosting that night, man. We got DC 813 is one of the hottest comics in Tampa right now. We got him booked to do the show. We got a couple brothers. We had a brother who came in last night that did. Man, he's hilarious. He is hilarious. Let me give you this. Rudy Wilson, I believe is his name, man. I want to make sure I didn't say the wrong name. The brother was fire. Yes, Rudy Wilson. Tampa comic, no social media. Man, I ain't laughed this hard in a long time. He didn't even do any routines, y'all. He just went up there and did crowd work for 15 minutes, bro. This guy is fire. And we got the comedian CP coming out from coming out from LA, who's going to be headlining. We will also have at least one more artist performing, one more comic to be announced. Tickets are between $20 and $35. Bottle service is available, and it is actually bottle service might be the best deal for you. I ain't gonna lie to you. If you plan on coming with a group of 3 or 4, and you're gonna have at least 2 drinks each, get your bottle. The prices are amazing. Lowest prices on the bottles in Tampa. I'm here to tell you, bro. Here to tell you the lowest prices, man. So it's gonna be a good time. It's gonna be a good time. Get your tickets now. We're on Eventbrite. Get your tickets now. Um, and check out my Instagram for more information. The Eventbrite link will be there. If you're interested, let me know. I'll send you the link so you can get your tickets now. We're only selling 200 tickets. We just went live with this, like promoting and everything. I think we've already sold 4 tickets or something like that. So hey, man, the tickets are gonna go fast, y'all. It's gonna go fast. They're gonna like Cav, like that grape drink. That grape drink gotta have sugar in it to be grape drink, bro. But Viking can't drink it because he's like type 1 diabetic. So I get it. I get it. 1 for 34 in the building. What's good, fam? We just wrapping it up. We was talking about winter is here, man, and how to handle the adversity that is surely to come, financial and emotional and all the rest of it. And I hope that this episode will be helpful to someone. We're definitely gonna do a proper episode when we're gonna bring some professionals up here to actually give us some really good ways to deal with this kind of thing, man. I'm sure I could find somebody, man. There's plenty of counselors out there. There's plenty of people who are trained to know how to handle this stuff. We were just talking about how you do it, man. We just over here chopping it up like real dudes. Like, man, how do you handle this, man? So giving our own advice, Life of Cash, and Brother Mike gave some really good advice. And I think that's what we should, be focused on. I gotta go, guys. We'll be back tomorrow, 6 p.m. We're gonna have Sis on here, bro. It's gonna be a good conversation, man. I'm gonna get that thumbnail out tonight, bro. I am looking forward to that conversation. And with Jamie Lee Simmons, Sister Jamie Lee Simmons. We're gonna be talking to her, comedian out of Miami, beautiful woman. And we're gonna have a good conversation, guys. So tomorrow, 6 p.m., it's gonna be crazy. Make sure y'all here. Brother Viking. I lay it from the front. You can, in fact, always level up. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Like I lead from the front. And that's a good place to lead from, bro. You can always level up. You want to do that. Yes, sir. That's the end, man. We wrapping this up, man. We are done. Y'all know what time it is, man. Thanks for rocking out with me. I'll see y'all tomorrow for sure, 6 p.m. Don't be late. That's going to be a fun one. I'm DL Saint. This is the I Really Want to Know podcast. Definitely clip this one and share this one with someone who you think needs to hear this, man. Winter is here, people, but don't worry. Push through it. Like Brother Viking said, lead from the front and you will get to the promised land. Ha! You feel me? Thank y'all so much, man. I appreciate each and every one of you. We out of here. Peace.
Nothing like I've ever seen. It's just a thing of beauty.
Darn, that's the end.